Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Female Prisoner Scorpion, Be Stable, a Japanese exploitation dramatic thriller from 1973 that is the third installment of the Female Prisoner Scorpion film series. Now, I already reviewed the first two installments on this channel, Female Prisoner 701 Scorpion and Jailhouse 41. So it's time to look at the third entry here. This installment finds our heroine, Nami Matsushima, played again by Meiko Kaji, hiding out in the city and branded public enemy number 1. Two police detectives corner her on a subway very early in the film, but suffer severe injuries as a result, and Nami finds refuge from the dragnet with a down-and-out prostitute living in an incestuous relationship with her brain-damaged brother, if you can imagine that. Now, the pair of women soon run afoul of a local gang of villains, led by a sadistic crime lord who inflicts forced abortions on the girls working for her. Meanwhile, one of the cops from the subway incident is hot on Nami's trail. So similar to prior installments, the production values here are solid. This is a beautifully shot film. I like the buildings and the feel of urban Japan in the 1970s, especially at night. That's something that's a little bit new in this installment. You get more of that here, whereas you got more of the prison setting in the first film, more of like the, I guess, grassland or rural settings in part 2, and now you get the urban setting in part 3. So I like how they mixed it up. It's one of the cool things about watching some of these older films as well, is that you're basically transported back to that time in the 70s, and there are quite a few outdoor shots in this film, so there's much to see in that regard in terms of the urban settings. Neighborhoods are captured by some very nice wide shots. I think my favorite shot of this entire film, though, is a nightmarish sequence in a bright white room with blood just getting splattered all over the walls. That scene is awesome, so look out for that. Now, I've mentioned previously on this channel that, the first time when I marathon these films back in the day, my initial impression was that Be Stable was a downgrade from the first two installments. I think that that's still true after this recent viewing, but I will admit that I enjoyed it more this time around. Really, like, the biggest problem of this film, is like a half an hour period after the opening. So you get this 10-minute opening sequence, which is fantastic. You got Meiko Kaji running around public areas with a severed arm that's hanging off of her handcuffs, and you'll see how that happens. It's great and blackly humorous stuff. But after that, after she takes shelter with the other woman, the prostitute, the film kind of drags for about a half an hour after that. The conflict feels more static and less dynamic than its predecessors. However, by the midpoint of the film, it just kicks off again. The movie becomes more interesting and purely entertaining during that second half. There's some good bits of violence in this as well. There's a murder montage that was pretty neat. And I even enjoyed the lengthy sewer suspense sequence as well. And the finale is entertaining too. So this has a lot of enjoyability and entertainment value to it. Now, the film does get pretty unrealistic at times. And I would say that there are even some plot holes and contrivances during the final 10 minutes in particular. But it's still kind of easy to roll with it because it's a lot of fun to watch regardless, despite its flaws. Now remember, this is still an exploitation movie, so there are a few uncomfortable acts of humiliation present. Some sufficient nudity is presented as well. Nothing too extreme, but it's there. In terms of the characters, Meiko Kaji barely speaks at all, again, which is consistent with the prior films. But here, I would say her mannerisms and facial expressions are equally as good as the prior installments. So it's almost like she doesn't even need to talk. You know what I mean? She has the eyes, she has the mannerisms. You could tell what she's feeling throughout the film without even talking. So her performance is still on par with the prior films. The crime lord has this like weird obsession with crows and even keeps them as pets in like a cage. And then she wears an outfit that's made from crow feathers. It's quite odd, but kind of memorable. A few of the male characters are more balanced this time around. You know, like the main cop who's chasing Meiko Kaji. He's trying to get revenge on her for severely injuring him, which is completely understandable. And the rest of the cops in this film are really just trying to do their jobs. So the men in this film did not seem like mustache-twirling villains, which is a change from the prior installments. I just noticed that while marathoning these again. So there's a little bit more balance in the male characters here. Shunya Ito returns to the director's chair, so there's consistency there as well. This would be the final installment for him, though. He did not direct the fourth installment of this franchise, but Meiko Kaji did return for that installment as well. So despite a rather soft half hour early on, I think Be Stable is another entertaining entry in this franchise. I'm actually kind of surprised at how much I enjoyed it this time around. And it's definitely I would definitely rewatch this one again in the future, and I look forward to it. So if I'm marathoning these films again, which I will do, because these are good flicks, I will be looking forward to Be Stable even more next time compared to this time. So this entire franchise is currently available on Amazon Streaming in the United States, and there's also a very nice Blu-ray box set from Arrow that I showcased in one of my movie collection videos recently. So again, this is a very nice old-school Japanese exploitation film series from the 70s that's really kind of a must-watch if you're interested in exploring that type of film. But the final question that needs to be answered is this: will the final installment, 701's Grudge Song, improve for me as much as Be Stable did with a repeat viewing? I'm not expecting it to, but I'm excited to find out, and we will find out when I review that one in the next few weeks. So, as always, we'll see you next time.